I was in Washington, D.C. recently and had lunch with a friend who's a Democratic strategist. I told him, things are looking really good so far for the Democrats in the 2020 election. And he responded to me, yes, but we'll figure out a way to screw things up. We always do. When I asked him how exactly the Democrats are going to screw things up, he said, just watch. You'll know it when you see it. Enter Mark and Patricia McCloskey, the couple that dared protect their own property from protesters who were walking by their house on a private street to the governor's house to have a larger gathering. After the McCloskeys saw them damage their gate and walk up their driveway, they went outside with guns. Mark McCloskey says as soon as he walked outside, he was threatened.
The only thing we said is, this is private property. Go back. Private property. Leave now. At that point, everybody got enraged. There were people wearing body armor. One person pulled out some loaded pistol magazines and clicked them together and said, "You're next." We're threatened with our lives, threatened with a house being burned down, my office building being burned down, even our dog's life being threatened. It was about as bad as it can get.
Well, that's not quite true. That's not as bad as it can get. This is how bad it can get. We've seen billions of dollars of property damage and looting in cities across America. We have seen disturbing video of people unarmed who try to protect their property only to get brutally attacked. And those images came with a promise from rioters that they'd be moving to the suburbs soon.
It's real bogus. They got to get it right. Otherwise, this was going to happen. And ain't nothing left here. So when we start coming to the suburbs, when we come to the government center, then what y'all going to do?
So the McCloskeys had reason to feel threatened. They legally owned their guns. Their property was damaged, and they witnessed the protesters trespassing. So they should be legally okay, right? Wrong. St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kimberly Gardner sent officers to the McCloskeys' home to confiscate their guns. And she is considering charges against the couple for threatening what she calls peaceful protesters. So she has already predetermined who was right and who was wrong. Oh, did I mention that Kimberly Gardner is running for re-election? This is all purely political and shows a dangerous split in the Democratic Party that could hurt national candidates like Joe Biden. You've heard a lot about a split between liberal Democrats and moderate Democrats, but there is also a split between local and national Democrats. America's major cities are much more liberal than the general population and even more liberal than the National Democratic Party, and our major cities have a large minority population. It was one of the major reasons why some mayors in major cities told their police to stand down while businesses were being looted and damaged. It was why Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan had to suffer through the embarrassment of promising a summer of love after she abdicated 6 city blocks to protesters for a no-cop zone, only to have to then move in and close it down after 4 people were shot and 2 were killed. It is why Portland has suffered through 46 straight days of rioting as Mayor Ted Wheeler pleads with the protesters to stop so he can defund the police, even though shootings have risen in that city over the past year 380%, and so have murders, with 5 people killed this past weekend. Because of all of that, the national violence and the call to defund police will now be a central issue in the 2020 presidential campaign.
You have reached the 911 police emergency line. Due to defunding of the police department, we're sorry, but no one is here to take your call. If you're calling to report a rape, please press 1. To report a murder, press 2. To report a home invasion, press 3. For all other crimes, leave your name and number, and someone will get back to you. Our estimated wait time is currently 5 days. Goodbye.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Now, it's important to point out here that Joe Biden has come out against defunding police, but clearly the Republicans see the call to defund the police on the local level by Democratic politicians as a problem for Biden.
Joe Biden is a helpless puppet of the radical left. And he's not radical left. I don't think he knows what he is anymore.
Expect to hear a lot of that Joe Biden has weakened with age and is not strong enough to control a party that has become way too liberal. Now, I am no way in saying that is true, but I will say that candidate Joe Biden has hurt himself by staying in his basement 6 days out of the week while crime is spiking across America. Biden didn't even return the call of the National Association of Police Organizations this week. And so they endorsed Donald Trump for president. That organization represents over 1,000 police unions across the country. And this is a big deal because they endorsed Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012 specifically because Joe Biden was on the ticket and they like him. In fact, in every campaign that Joe Biden has run in 50 years in politics, he has had the endorsement of the police unions until now. And this couple is a big part of that. The McCloskeys have become a symbol of the breakdown of law and order. They called 911, but the police never came. Now, the St. Louis Circuit Attorney might think they're criminals, but to much of the rest of the country, they are heroes for standing up for the law when no one else would. If the McCloskeys are actually charged with the crime, that may be a win for St. Louis Democratic politicians, but it would hurt the Biden campaign because that means they're not going away anytime soon. This may just be the moment my Democratic strategist friend was fearing, and the moment the Trump campaign was waiting for.
These radical politicians want to defund and abolish the police from our nation. At first, when
I'm Larry
I first heard
Mendte.
it, I said, well,
Talk again soon.
that's just...